George P. Bush, thank you so much for joining us. Congrats on making the runoff in the Republican Texas primary for Attorney General. So first, I should ask you, why do you think you emerged in the runoff in the first place?
Well, we ran an aggressive grassroots styled campaign throughout the state of Texas. We wrapped up the last 6 weeks of campaigning starting in January of this year, traveling to over 50 retail stops throughout the great state. And, in a tight race that, tie goes to the winner. And in this case, it went to the campaign that had over 600 volunteers, block walking, phone banking, filled with young Texans, college Republicans, you name it, that were joining this cause to restore honor and integrity. So right now, we're already beginning our game plan to take on Ken Paxton, arguably the most corrupt public official we've had in modern Texas history, and reaching out to the Eva Guzman campaign and Louis Gohmert, thanking them for their incredible service and running very honorable campaigns that they should be very proud of. So we'll be reaching out to them this week and then reaching out to other undecided voters, because there are a few that just didn't participate in this first round of the primary. And we're encouraging all Republicans to be involved in this runoff, because we don't want to see a low voting turnout. We want conservatives to be loud and proud and be involved in this race.
Well, what is your message really to Republican primary voters? And as you know, as you alluded to, these primary runoffs are low turnout normally. Only the most energized supporters go out and vote. So how are you going to change that? How are you going to attract voters to come out and vote in a primary runoff?
Well, the problem is that if we go with Ken, we lose to the Democrats. We need to move away from an indicted felon, somebody who's facing 3 felony counts in a Harris County court, and someone who's facing an FBI investigation. So if we don't switch horses now, we lose to the Democrats, and they're very energized on the other side. So I think any conservative that believes in values that are important to religious freedom, to personal freedoms in our state, that they've got to go with our campaign. So I encourage your viewers to check out our website at georgepbush.com. Come out to one of our grassroots events that we're going to host throughout the state. And Jack, I challenged Ken Paxton last night to 5 televised debates. We'll see if he comes out of his basement. So far, no luck, but maybe in the next 3 months, he'll decide to engage Republicans in this process.
Some analysts believe that Louis Gohmert's supporters are more aligned with Ken Paxton's along very grassroots conservative. And so when you look at that, last night, and with both of those candidates combined, it's about 60%. So how do you go about changing the minds of all these voters who may be inclined to support Paxton this time?
Well, Congressman Gohmert ran a great campaign. I really enjoyed debating with him 11 times throughout the state of Texas. And he was an absolute gentleman whose heart was in this for the right reasons, and that was removing public corruption. I think if he were here, he'd say that that was really the core of his race, and his offering to the people of Texas was saying, we don't have to accept this at the ballot box. We don't have to accept politics as usual and cronyism in the most powerful legal position in our state. And so I've already reached out to him. I've left a voice message with him, and I look forward to that discussion. I suspect that a lot of his supporters will come to our side because they believe in clean and transparent government, and they don't believe that true Christian conservatives act the way that Ken Paxton has these past few years, and that another 4 years, we're not sure it really produces the type of results that Texans demand and expect out of the Attorney General's position. So all to say that I consider Louis a friend. I thank him for being a great patriot, running a great campaign, and doing a service to conservatives by engaging the process, unlike Ken Paxton.
During the one televised debate last week, you had some very sharp, tough exchanges with Eva Guzman. And so I'm wondering now, if you said you want to go and try to get her support, bring her on board, how do you do that given the fact that you exchanged some very tough words with her?
Well, you sometimes get to know a candidate in a rough and tumble campaign. And I know that her heart was in the right place, and she offered a great vision and ran a great campaign. And I've already reached out to her campaign, and I look forward to that discussion with her. Look, sometimes we have some issue contrast. We have differences of opinion in terms of how we secure the border. Voters decided to go with my vision, but I'm going to welcome her ideas and her experiences because they matter a lot to this race against Ken Paxton. And look, she was in this race also for the same reason that me and Louis were as well. And we traveled this entire state together. And I value her opinion, her input, because, we're going to win this race with them in this campaign. And so, look, after a long campaign, everybody's entitled to a little bit of a break. I'm not going to stop. They are. And I know they're going to spend time with family, with loved ones, think and reflect upon this race. And I suspect at the end of the day, they will join along with other conservatives that have not endorsed or jumped into this race yet, because they see the stakes being really high if we decide to nominate Ken Paxton once again.
And my last question to you is, Ken Paxton told his supporters last night that it is time for conservatives to unite behind him. And he framed this as a debate between a conservative himself against a moderate, you. And so what is your response to that?
Well, conservatives don't sleep around on their wife. Conservatives don't throw out the Constitution in the window to try to get a federal preemptive pardon by filing frivolous lawsuits. This campaign is going to be about restoring honesty and integrity to the top legal position. And look, he wants to divert the attention away from the real issue and the fact that he's facing a bribery corruption investigation led by the FBI, stemming from allegations from his 8 top lieutenants. So he can label me all he wants, but the reality is Texans know better. They're tired of the violence in the streets. They want somebody who's going to be tough on crime, secure the border, but most importantly, beat the Democrats, which he won't be able to do.
George P. Bush, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Jack.